going on? Well, I wanted to do another vlog for you, and before I get to that, I want to issue my little disclaimer. I just want to remind you that anytime you see me talking about topics in these vlogs or giving out advice or anything like that, I'm not saying that this is what you need to be doing or my way's the right way and your way's wrong or something like that. I'm basically just giving you some ideas and just telling you what's worked out for me over the last 16 years and just giving you some things to think about to make your business better, and maybe you could take a nugget here and there. So that's really all we're trying to do with these vlogs. We're just sharing ideas, and if you have any suggestions, you can always feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Now, what I want to talk about in this particular video is wedding consultations. Now, I realize that occasionally we will do other consultations like party consultations, or maybe meet with students for school dances, but that's another video for another day. But in this particular video, I want to talk about wedding consultations because that's mainly what I do. I would say 99% of the consultations I do are for weddings. We meet with a couple. And these are just some things that you want to think about whenever you meet with the bride and groom, and just give you some ideas on that. Now, first of all, I would have to say that probably most of the brides and grooms that I meet with, they've never planned a wedding before. This is usually their first marriage, and a lot of times they don't even know where to begin. So they look for us to kind of guide them when it comes to planning a wedding reception. Because a lot of times, they don't know our industry like we do. For example, they may think that, the DJ, all he does, he just comes and sets up, equipment, plays music for 3 or 4 hours, breaks down and leaves, which obviously we do a lot more than that. So it's our job to educate them and let them know, basically what we do so that they have a better understanding of what they're paying for. Now, that does not mean that, we want to give them a hard sales tactic, like a car salesman or something like that. That's not what we're trying to do here. And this is what I do whenever I meet with a bride and groom. First of all, brides and grooms normally find me online, or maybe they'll have a friend that'll recommend them to me or something like that. Maybe I did their friend's wedding, like a consultation I had yesterday. I was recommended by a past bride that I'd done her wedding a while back, and she recommended me to this bride that I met with yesterday, and she went ahead and booked. So, that's usually what happens. That's usually the first step. They'll find you online or however they find you or whatever, and then they'll normally want to schedule a consultation. And typically what I normally do is I like to meet with them at Starbucks. That's a good place to meet. You can sit down and have a cup of coffee, relax, and talk about their, wedding and things of that nature. Now, I do have, an office here at home, but I want my clients to be comfortable, and so that's why I like to meet, at Starbucks, because that's really a nice comfort zone for them, and, we can sit down and talk about things, and it just really works out well. We've, nicknamed Starbucks the mobile DJ's office for a reason. So anyway, that's a great place to meet with brides, and so what I normally do is when I meet with them, I want to try to gain their trust. That's the most important thing right there. You want to make sure that they trust you, because if they don't trust you, they're not going to hire you. And it's really as simple as that. And usually what I normally do is I want the brides and grooms to understand right off the bat that I have their best interest at heart. Okay, I run a mobile DJ business, but I've got their best interest at heart, and every single bride and groom that I work with is special to me in their own unique way. And my job, and what I want more than anything, is for them to be able to walk out of their reception at the end of the night saying, you know what, that was the best reception I have ever been to. And I want their friends and family saying that too. And so we want to do what's best for them, and that's really, the bottom line right there. Of course, we want to make money as well, but again, our first priority needs to be making sure that we do what's best for our clients. So typically what I'll do is I like to find out a little bit about them. So the first question I ask them is I like for them to tell me, how did they meet, and how did the guy propose to the girl. And I always like to know these stories, and I've heard some amazing stories too. But see, by doing that, you let them know that you're interested in their life, and you're not just somebody that's trying to get money out of them. That they feel more at ease when you start asking them personal things like that, like finding out a little bit about them, like how they met and how they proposed, and you really start to create a trust and a friendship with them, which is what you want to do. And so, after we usually talk about that, what I'll do at that point is I'll go over a sample reception outline with them. And I've got a notebook that I've got all this listed in that I show them, and it's got just a sample outline of a typical wedding reception that probably 99% of the brides and grooms that I work with follow. But I also tell my brides and grooms that I meet with, that we don't necessarily have to follow it that way. It's just a sample outline just to give them some ideas and a starting point. That we can add things in, take things out, and switch things around. Whatever they want to do. We'll customize their reception however they want to, but this just kind of gives them a starting point and something to think about, and kind of gives them an idea of what we have to offer when it comes to planning wedding receptions and carrying them out and things of that nature. And then I also talk about how we don't want to do a timeline. We talked about that in a video a couple weeks ago, that video where I talked about timelines versus sequence of events. And if you remember, I showed you on the screen that timeline that bride had sent me with the times listed out, and it was all they're breaking up the open dance and do toast and cake cutting and all that. Go back and look at that video and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I actually show my brides and grooms that when I meet with them, just to kind of show them what they don't want to do. And a lot of the brides will look at that and they'll be like, they're horrified by that. So they're like, no, we don't want to do that. And they really like how we have everything organized and we talk about how we normally do things. And we show them that that's not what we do. So that always helps out, and that really gives them a better understanding on why it's important to create a sequence of events that works out best for them, and how we want to make it flow and make it work, and and that's always a good thing for them when they understand more about what we do when it comes to the planning process. Then at that point, I'll go over the forms with them. I've got the sample forms that I'd be sending them to fill out for the wedding reception, like their first dance or spotlight dances, all the events they want where they can list their wedding party. And we kind of go over that, and I show them how we're going to organize their reception and put it all together in a planner. I kind of build this picture for them and show them how all that's going to work. And then I show them some sample wedding planners from actual brides and grooms that I've done weddings for in the past. I just show them different ones and show them what different brides and grooms chose, and so they can look at them and see, first of all, how we organize the things, what a planner looks like, how we do that, and also they get a chance to see what other brides and grooms have done, so that can give them some ideas as well. And at that point, we'll then go over the packages. So I don't start out just going over the packages. When you get to Starbucks, you don't want to sit down and just start talking about money right offhand, okay? That's not how you're going to gain trust. And you really want to make sure that your brides and grooms understand that you have their interest at heart. And so that's why, after I've gone over all that other stuff, that's when we start talking about the packages. And a lot of times, the brides and grooms have already picked out the package they want because they've already seen it on my website or they've seen it in the wedding packet. And usually they're ready to go. They've already looked it over, but I'll explain it to them anyway. And in case they haven't made a decision on what package they want, we'll go over each package one by one and pick out the package that works best for them. Now, you notice I said the one that works best for them, not the one that works best for our bank account. So that's not what we're up against, and what we would try to do whenever we meet with the bride and groom. I'm not out to get as much money out of them as I can, or try to upsell them on things that they really don't need. Let me give you a good example on that. Let's say that they're having their reception in the middle of June from like 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 7 o'clock at night. And let's say that their venue, let's say I played there before and it's got a lot of open windows, the sun's going to be coming in and things of that nature. Well, obviously, I wouldn't be trying to talk that bride and groom into getting a package that contains a lot of uplighting and the Gobo monogram projector and things like that, because they're not going to see it. If it's from 3 to 7, I mean, in the summertime it doesn't even get dark till like 8:30 here in Florida, so it'd be daylight during their whole reception. So I definitely wouldn't want to try and talk them into getting a package that has a lot of uplighting or the Gobo monogram projector or anything like that. I'd probably talk them into getting one of the lower tier packages, that contains maybe just a basic LED light show that may show up a little bit, but really, for something like that, they wouldn't need a big light show, so we just make sure we want to stress that. Now, on the flip side, I have actually had brides that would choose a package with like uplighting. And when I looked at their venue, or I knew their venue, I knew the uplighting really wouldn't work. So I would talk them out of getting the larger package, and I would sell them actually on the smaller package. And I realized, that I could have gone ahead and signed them onto that other package, got me uplighting. They could have paid more money, that would have been more money in my bank account, but again, that wouldn't have been the best thing for them. My goal is to make sure I do what's best for the bride and groom. And and that's the main thing right there. So yeah, I talked them into choosing another package that didn't have all the uplighting and stuff. Even though they liked the uplighting, it just really wouldn't have worked at the particular venue that they were gonna be at, because it was gonna be outside under a tent, and I just didn't really see where we could put a lot of uplighting there and how it would really be effective like they wanted. So I told them that, and they were really happy and glad I was honest with them about that. On the other hand, what I will do though is, I will, talk to them about, the different packages, and let's say, that they're renting this big hall, and it's got like 200 people or something like that, and I'll go ahead and tell them about the uplighting, but in the end, I'll let them make that decision. I don't really, try to pressure them or anything like that. That's the most important thing. You don't want to try and pressure your brides and grooms to signing up for a larger package. I just present the ideas to them, and I just give them my opinion. But in the end, it's really their decision, and they really like that because they know that I've got their best interest at heart, and that's what I try to do. Okay, so after that, after they've already chosen the package they want, we'll then, go over the contract. Now, normally what I do when it comes to the contract is I send that to them a few days before we actually meet for the consultation. And the reason for that is because my contract is, pretty long. It's like 3 or 4 pages. And I want them to have a chance to look it over and read it over in case they have any questions by the time we meet. I don't want them to see the contract the first time we meet, and expect them to go ahead and sign and, pay the retainer fee right there without really having a chance to read over the contract. So that's why I always like to send the contract at least a couple days ahead of time, so that they've already read over it and they know what's going to happen and they can understand it, and then I can go ahead and answer any questions that they have when we meet. And then a lot of times they'll go ahead and write the retainer fee. They'll be like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do this thing. We'll go ahead and fill out the contract right there. They'll hand me a retainer fee, and we're in the date's book. That's kind of like what happened yesterday at this particular consultation that I had. So yeah, that's basically it when it comes to wedding consultations. The main thing you want to do when it comes to somebody's wedding, you got to make sure that you develop their trust. You got to make sure that they understand that you have their best interest at heart. And remember, it's all about them. You want to make sure that you let them know that you're interested in what they want to do, and you're interested in getting to know them. And it's really a good way, a good icebreaker to ask them right at the very beginning how they met and how they got engaged. And people love to talk about that. They love to tell those stories. And when you do that, that just really adds a lot of trust to you, and it shows that you're really a genuine, caring person, as opposed to somebody that they may sit down with and they'll just say, okay, let's cut to the chase. Here are the packages. This is what we have to offer. You want to sign up and pay. We don't want to be like that. So that's what I try to stress to my clients. Is this, I'm somebody that tries to really make sure that they have the best day of their life, and not somebody that's just trying to get as much money out of them as they can. So anyway, that's where we're going to leave this. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. My email address is right there on the screen, or you can always drop a comment down below and we'll discuss it. Or if you have any questions or anything like that, or some future topics you'd like for me to talk about, just let me know and I'll be sure to make a video about that. So until next time, practice and enjoy.